building just fell apart. Oh my God.
The Philippines is once again at the center of the world's attention as an unprecedented catastrophe unfolds before our eyes. Right now, the nation is facing one of the most destructive natural disasters in its modern history. A super typhoon that has cut through provinces, flattened homes, destroyed infrastructure, and left millions in fear, despair, and uncertainty. The scale of this storm is unlike anything we have seen in years. And the images emerging from the ground reveal a country brought to its knees by nature's sheer and unstoppable power. In the heart of Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, families are huddled together in makeshift shelters, their faces drenched not only by rain but by tears. Entire towns have been swallowed by floodwaters, roads turned into raging rivers, and once thriving neighborhoods reduced to nothing more than debris and mud. This is not just another storm. This is a historic tragedy, one that will be remembered for generations. A dark chapter in the Philippines' long battle against typhoons. The super typhoon, hacking winds that tore through roofs like paper and rains that drowned farmlands in a matter of hours, has been called one of the most powerful weather systems to strike the archipelago in recent memory. Meteorologists had warned of its approach, but the intensity with which it struck has shocked even the most seasoned disaster experts. Coastal villages were the first to be battered, with waves as high as buildings crashing onto shores, sweeping away homes, fishing boats, and livelihoods that families had depended on for decades. Right now, rescue operations are underway, but they face enormous challenges. Collapsed bridges, landslides blocking highways, and submerged streets are making it nearly impossible for relief teams to reach the worst-hit communities. Helicopters hover overhead, trying to locate survivors stranded on reef camps. The Philippine military, Coast Guard, and local volunteers are working tirelessly around the clock, pulling people from collapsed structures, carrying the elderly and children through floodwaters, and delivering whatever food and medicine they can carry. But for every life saved, countless more are still in danger, trapped in the chaos this storm has unleashed. Hospitals are overwhelmed. In provinces like Quezon, Bicol, and Leyte, medical centers are running out of power, fuel, and supplies. Doctors are forced to work by flashlight, treating the injured as the rain pounds on rooftops above them. The cries of children echo in evacuation centers, where thousands have crammed into cramped spaces with little food and clean water. In some shelters, entire families share a single mat, clutching their belongings, praying the storm will end soon. Yet even as the winds subside, the flooding continues, rivers overflowing and dams strain to their limits. The agricultural heartland of the Philippines has been dealt a devastating blow. Vast rice fields are submerged under murky waters, coconut plantations torn down, and banana crops uprooted by the howling wind. Farmers who had hoped for a bountiful harvest now face ruin. This will not only cripple local economies but will deepen food insecurity in a nation that was already grappling with rising prices. The economic impact of this storm could linger for years, pushing countless families deeper into poverty. But beyond the statistics and economic losses are the human stories. Mothers desperately searching for their missing children. Fathers wading through chest-deep water with their elderly parents on their backs. Young children trembling with fear as they recount how their homes were torn apart in minutes. In one province, an entire barangay was buried under a massive landslide triggered by relentless rains, wiping out dozens of households in a matter of seconds. Survivors describe hearing the roar of earth collapsing, followed by screams that quickly fell silent. These are the tragedies that no number can measure, the wounds that may never fully heal. International attention is now turned on the Philippines. Aid organizations are mobilized, and neighboring countries have pledged assistance. But the scale of devastation is so immense that recovery will be a long and painful journey. Humanitarian agencies warn of potential outbreaks of disease as clean water becomes scarce. And makeshift evacuation centers struggle to cope with overcrowding. The United Nations has already issued an urgent appeal, calling on the world to stand with the Philippines in this moment of unparalleled crisis.
Sinapak na talaga ang mata! Kawawa sa motor!
This is not the first time the Philippines has faced such horror. The nation has endured countless typhoons, with memories of disasters like Haiyan still etched deeply into the collective consciousness. Yet each storm brings its own scars, and this one, by striking with such ferocity and catching entire communities off guard, has carved its place in history as one of the most heartbreaking. What makes this tragedy even more painful is the knowledge that climate change is making storms stronger, wetter, and more unpredictable. Scientists have long warned that the Philippines, being on the front line of the Pacific, will bear the brunt of this global crisis, and today's images prove those warnings to be devastatingly true. As we look across the Philippines right now, the picture is one of resilience but also of exhaustion. Volunteers are forming human chains to rescue neighbors. Strangers are sharing what little they have left, and communities are showing solidarity in the face of overwhelming destruction. Yet the road ahead is daunting. Rebuilding shattered homes, restoring power lines, reopening schools, and ensuring people have access to food and clean water will take months, if not years. For many families, the trauma will last far longer. The government has declared states of calamity in multiple regions, freeing up emergency funds and deploying troops to assist in rescue operations. Yet criticism is already mounting over whether enough was done to prepare for a storm of this magnitude. Survivors, standing in the ruins of their communities, ask why evacuation orders came so late, why shelters were not better equipped, and why they must always bear the brunt of nature's wrath with so little protection. These questions will linger long after the floodwaters recede. The scenes from the ground are almost apocalyptic. Cars piled on top of one another. Churches and schools with their roofs ripped off. Marketplaces underwater, and entire roads simply washed away. Power outages stretch for hundreds of kilometers, leaving millions in darkness and isolation. Communication lines are down in many provinces, cutting off families from their loved ones. For those waiting anxiously abroad, trying to contact relatives in the Philippines, the silence is agonizing. The spirit of the Filipino people is renowned for its resilience. Time and again, they have rebuilt from ashes, rising stronger after each calamity. And already, amidst the rubble, stories of hope emerge. A newborn delivered safely in an evacuation center. Neighbors pooling together their food to feed hungry children. Rescuers braving floodwaters to save pets left behind in abandoned homes. These glimpses of humanity remind us that even in the darkest hour, light can be found. But resilience alone cannot shield the Philippines from storms of this magnitude in the future. This tragedy is a wake-up call, not only for the nation but for the world. Urgent investment in climate adaptation, stronger infrastructure, and early warning systems is needed. The international community must recognize that what happens in the Philippines today is a sign of what the future holds for all coastal and vulnerable nations in a warming world. Right now, as we speak, the Philippines is bleeding, its people are grieving, its land is broken, and yet, the story is not over. This is just the beginning of a long struggle for survival, for recovery, for justice in the face of a changing climate. What is unfolding in the Philippines is not just a national disaster, but a global reminder of how fragile humanity is against the power of nature.